Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Silver and Black Experience. I'm your host, Rafael Chacinas, known as El Capitán Rafucho. So right now, this is a Raiders show. Right now, we have no bullshit, no drama, and no quiz. We tell you why. Because right now is Chiefs Hate Week, which means it's the preview against Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football. And right now, I'm not alone because right now we have a special guest right here, the Raw, the Uncensored, and of course, the man of the hour right here because he's not afraid to tell what's going on for the Raiders. He's not afraid to anything because he's one of my Raider brothers and he got more guts than everybody else because he provides uncensored content, raw, and of course, more hardcore than anybody does. So right now, we're joining us, Raider Reaction on this show right here. How's it going, Raider Reaction?
I'm good. Actually, I'm the commish. Raider Reaction is just the brand, but I am the commish. I'm the head of Raider Reaction. We got a whole team over at Raider Reaction that helps me, but I'm the man in charge over there. So thank you for having me, brother. I appreciate it. This is Queefs Hate Week, brother. It's Queefs Week.
Oh yes,
the season starts Monday.
Oh yes, sir. Right now. So we're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs versus Las Vegas Raiders because historically, Las Vegas Raiders and Kansas City Chiefs have a long and memorable rivalry, but their meetings in recent years have been pretty one-sided because the Raiders have won against Chiefs since Patrick Mahomes became the Chiefs starting quarterback, and has to change if they had to go in any success at the AFC West moving forward. That could be started as Monday when the Raiders will play the Chiefs on the prime time in Monday Night Football. So what happens? Let's execute for all the faces right here. There are some 3 X factors. First, the Raiders' offensive tackles. When anyone looks at the Raiders' offensive front, was likely the most potential defensive ends, Max Crosby, Chandler Jones. One group has had play a big role against the Chiefs is an interior of the Raiders' offensive line with players like defensive tackles like Bila Nichols, Andrew Violence, the quarterback never dealing with the pressure in the middle. And if the Raiders could generate that Chiefs strong interior at the offensive line, that could be a long way to keeping Mahomes on the heels. There's number two, Josh motherfucking Jacobs. Because what happened after game against Devin Broncos, he's a motherfucking beast. That's a common strategy for any opponent for the Chiefs to want to keep the ball out of Mahomes so the Chiefs offense has as much as possible. For the Raiders, they need a running back like Josh Jacobs to continue playing at the Pro Bowl level. He's sure he still possessed last week against the Denver Broncos. If he can have a similar performance like 144-yard and touchdowns, two of them, the Raiders will have the best chance at dictating out the tempo of the game right here because we can say that about Josh Jacobs. And even better, they need to pay the fuck up. So, the Kamish, any about your
Yes.
thoughts about the X factors that are going to be on the Raiders, the defensive tackles, and of course, Josh Jacobs?
Well, I think you've seen the game plan to beat the Chiefs last weekend, and I think the game plan has been laid out for what Josh McDaniels needs to do with this team. Obviously, we've seen what he did the first 3 weeks. He basically tripped over his dick trying to figure out how to play with the new toys that he has, and it seemed like last week he really came in with a solid game plan, stuck to it. When you're having offensive line problems like the Raiders have had for the first 3 weeks of this season, it's been one of the big Achilles of the Raiders. When you have offensive line problems, the best thing you can do to help your offensive line is take away the amount of pass blocking they need to do and let them run block. Let them blast forward. Let them push bodies. Let them be the big, powerful guys that they are. And let your fucking running back, who totes the rock, who's your bell cow running back, run behind those guys and find his holes. That's the best thing about Josh Jacobs is he has the wiggle, man. He can find that little space in the hole. He just needs his offensive line to move the defensive line a little bit, and he can find the goddamn hole. That is the key to this game to me, is you drag the Chiefs down into the trenches where they don't want to be. You make them play the type of game that they don't want to play, and that's how you can beat them. And you got to get to the quarterback. I agree with you. It's got to be. You got to get some pressure. We got to see some more out of Chandler Jones this week. Max has to continue doing what Max has been doing, but he's got to hit Mahomes. Pressures don't change games. Sacks change games. Sacks cost yard loss of yardage. They cost loss of down. They put you in long situations on third down. Pressures don't do that. Pressures are a fucking incomplete pass and you reset the down. It's got to be a sack. The quarterback must go down. We've heard it for how many years from fucking Al back in the day. The quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, we can never forget about Josh Jacobs' performance. And he has an X factor that never forget about the game between Broncos versus Raiders. And Josh Jacobs against the client for the fifth year, they need to fucking pay right here because over the last performance that we saw on last Sunday, they need to fuck the ready up. So they need to pay those checks right here because he needs to pay because right now his performance is it's out to the beast mode right here. Max Max Crosby and Chandler Jones, they need to stack it up because they had a powerful duo in power rushers right here. And I can tell you, the defensive tackles are really stacked. In the case of Max Crosby and Chandler Jones, they're a dynamite.
Yeah, we got to get more push up the middle too. We need a little more push up the middle to help those guys because if you get the push up the middle from the defensive tackles, that helps your edge guys get to the quarterback because that draws more attention to them so that they can't double all your edge guys. It just allows some things. And I like the scheme that they came in and were running on defense last week where they were scheming Max out, swinging him around on stunts. They were doing different things. I really liked the game plan last week. When I sit down and watch the coaches tape after last game, the all 22s, I mean, I loved the game plan they had. I mean, it was a full, complete game. They played great on offense, they played great on defense, and they played great on special teams. I mean, you had the big, huge play by Matt Collins that set that up, where you got the punt down there. So if you come in and you do that and you stick with the same game plan you had last week, I think that's a success for this team. Because you can pound the rock, you can do all of that, and you've got Devonte Adams, and you've got these other guys that you can sprinkle these weapons in, but you don't have to dump so much on. You don't have to put so much pressure on your offensive line and make them pass block so much. Run blocking is much easier for an offensive lineman than have to pass block going backwards on their fucking toes and trying to stop these fucking speed guys that are coming at them. Blasting forward off the line is much, much easier.
Yeah, right now. We got a comment for the Chronicles of Black Hole, as known as OG Daniels. These Chiefs are the number one rush defense at the NFL after week 4. They haven't played any top rushing teams. Let's test this motherfuckers. And I agree with that.
I agree with that too. And I want just the point I want to point out, because a lot of people are pointing to last week's game against the Buccaneers in prime time, and they're stroking the Chiefs way too much off of that game. The Buccaneers came in absolutely decimated. Tom Brady had no weapons on offense. He was missing offensive linemen. Their defensive line is shit this year. Vita Vea is getting blown off the line. They don't have JPP. They didn't have fucking Sue. Their cornerbacks played shit. Literally, the Bucs threw the ball over 50 times against the Chiefs and ran the ball 6 fucking times. So they played right into the hand of Kansas City. And that is what the Raiders cannot do this week. You can't play into that hand. They exactly what Chronicles is saying, man. They didn't get any rush pushed against them last week. They were allowed to sit back and fucking just pick them apart. And the Buccaneers played right into their strengths. I don't think the Raiders do that this week. I think the Raiders, you run the same game plan you ran against the Donkeys last week, and I think that's the game plan to victory.
Yeah, exactly. But right now, let's move it out to another topic right here, because right now we had a breaking news, because we had the veteran wipeout Albert Wilson is going to head to Las Vegas Raiders. Now, it depends to read the name about Albert Wilson, not Russell Wilson, because to be fair and to be honest, Russell Wilson, he totally sucked. Because last game, because the last game,
Russell Wilson.
yes. But do not confuse that name right here, because Russell Wilson is totally sus right here. Because have you ever seen the Indianapolis Colts versus Denver Broncos? It makes me not want to sleep. But right now we're talking about Albert Wilson, because he's been out of the league since being cut for the Minnesota Vikings in late August. He will spend the last 4 years with the Dolphins, and of course the first year of career was in Kansas City. Now Albert Wilson has 280 catches for more than 2,000 yards and 12 touchdowns over the course of his career. Now, Devonte Adams, Mac Hollins, Hunter Renfrow, Tyron Johnson, and Keelan Cole are the receivers on the Raiders in the active roster. Now, Hunter Renfrow has...
Let me stop, because I don't know if you've seen it yet. They brought in Wilson, but they've sent Johnson and Wilson to the practice squad within the last few hours. So they're not on the active. You're coming into this game probably with 4 wide receivers on your active roster.
Yeah, that's right. Because right now Hunter Renfrow has missing time with a concussion, but he was returned for the practice this week.
Yeah, you probably got Adams, Hollins, Renfrow, and Cole. That's probably who you're coming into this game with. Yeah, because I was kind of shocked that I seen Tyron Johnson sent down to the practice squad, so he must not be impressing. And I think they probably just sent Wilson down there because he just came in. You know, he's probably practice squad for 1 week. They'll start to work him in the game plan, and then maybe next week we may get to see a little action out of him. But yeah, I was kind of shocked to see that both those guys went to the practice squad this afternoon.
Yeah, but well, it happens right here, because right now I have the sign for Albert Wilson right here. So we got a comment right here, Nutty Ray Nate.
What's up,
Raiders?
What's up, brother?
There you go, Nutty Raider Nate right here in the house. And we got Hefty QVC as Noah's Cheese right here. So we're gonna boo this guy right here. We're gonna boo this guy right here, because we're gonna boo this asses right here.
Loser.
Take this L, Hefe. Check his L, Hefe, on Monday.
Somebody call
right here. Nutty Raider Nate, we're going heavy run, and that's a fact right here.
I'm telling you, Nate, that's the game plan to victory, man. Run block, own the line, drag these sons of bitches down in the fucking trenches where they don't want to be. They want to stand back, and they want to get in a shootout like they did against they want the team throwing 50 times like the Bucs did. Raiders ain't gonna throw the ball 50 fucking times. I agree. Yeah. You own the line, and that's where you win this game. Win in the trenches, man. Old school Raider football. That's what last week was, man. That was beautiful. That was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. So right now we're gonna share the screen right here. So at the week 5 on the injury report, Jalen Brown, which is linebacker, had injured with hamstring right here. He did not participate right here. Justin Heron had a limited practice on Tuesday.
He went to
Foster
IR
Moreau,
today, brother. He's on
uh-huh.
IR now. That's a big hit to the O line. Haran went to IR today, so he actually played fairly well last week, and that's a big hit.
Yeah, that's right. First, we got a Foster Moreau, as he did not play on the Friday. Desmond Perriman with a concussion. Hunter Renfro also with a concussion. He was on full practice right here. Also, we got Roderick Teamer. Darren Waller with the shoulder had a full practice. Sam Webb with has the injury with hamstring had a limited practice. And of course, the center back here, which is Rock Yassin, with had an injury with the knee, had the full practice right here. So we got four guys. I'm not going to mistake right here. We have five guys on a full practice this Friday right here. So we got Denzel Perriman, Hunter Renfro, Roderick Teamer, Darren Waller, and of course Rock Jensen. And right now, I'm really shocked about the sign of Blake Martinez right here because I was thought that when he was getting cut for the New York Giants, and of course he was partners with Patrick Graham, which is the offensive coordinator for Las Vegas Raiders, and right now they had signed Blake Martinez after being cut from the New York Giants. So about the injury report and of course the Blake Martinez signing. So any thoughts about it?
Yeah, I think the bringing in Blake Martinez is kind of what you've seen like last year, and when Bradley was bringing his guys in. You have some familiarity with guys when you're a defensive coordinator. Same way, like on the offensive side of the ball, they bring guys in that they're familiar with. So he knows that this guy knows the scheme. He knows he can be a plug and play linebacker, and he can get an instant impact out of him. Where he's had Perryman came in last game, man, and he was lighting the guys up. He was blowing them up behind the line, and he looked awesome. But he went out immediately. So I think he's looking to have a little more depth, a guy that could step in and maybe fill the shoes for Perryman because he knows the system. He can be an immediate plug and play because he knows Patrick Graham. He's very familiar with all of his calls and the way to run his scheme. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why you bring that guy in, is just because of the familiarity with the system, where you're at in the season, and you need somebody you can push right in and can go right now. And I think that guy could make an immediate impact possibly on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, of course, for that, because Blake Martinez was playing for the New York Giants and, of course, for the Green Bay Packers over this career right here. So it might be now this is going to be like a good choice to send him off to the Raiders on the practice right here because he was signing for the active roles right here. And right now there's a concussion sufferer by the linebacker Denzel Perriman. So they're bringing off to a linebacker Blake Martinez off of this Perriman right here. So they made a decision to sign Martinez to the active roster because he was being familiar for Patrick Graham's defense. He was spending 2 weeks this season out in New York. Of course, he was lost against 3 games to 2021. He was started all 16 games in 2020, putting up 151 combined tackles, and he sits solo. And Perriman has been missing 2 full games of the season. And the second half of the last week games against Broncos, at his absence right here, it was Jay Brown who's filling in, not specific returns, but Blake Martinez had to figure it out to better solid option. Should be Perriman will be enabled on Monday night, all he missed the time for the jury into the future right here. So it doesn't happen between with Denzel Perriman out. Now it's kind of the time for the Blake Martinez right here because he had a solid defense, and of course it's a linebacker. But the biggest issue right here for the Raiders, they didn't need to sign a linebacker to cover it up. So we expected about Blake Martinez, which is a good idea.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I've been pretty impressed over the course of this season. Divine Diablo has really stepped up at linebacker. I still have a hard time dealing with the number 5 on a linebacker. I mean, I'd like to get Divine Diablo's jersey because I think he's got the coolest fucking name on the Raiders. But it's just hard for me to rock a linebacker that's a number 5. I just wish he'd rock a 50 or a 55 or something. But I'm coming around. I'm old school. I think position players should have the numbers that they've always had. I'm old school like that. But I've been impressed with him, man. He's actually one of the leading tacklers right now on the Raiders, and Divine Diablo has been a nice surprise. So if you could keep some talented linebacker like Blake Martinez, if he has to fill in a little bit and help with the loss of Perriman. Perriman's paramount. I mean, the guy was leading the league in tackles until he got banged up at the end of the year last year. And Well, we'll see, man. I mean, Perriman, he was in practice, right? I believe he was in practice. So I think he's gearing towards playing this week. So hopefully that's going to be all right. I hope. I really hope to see him out there because we really need him this week, man. We really need him.
Well, it against right now. So at the beginning, we just talked about Josh Jacobs right here. So right now, he's the top 10 career rusher in the Raiders' history by so far the top 10 of the top 5. Because what doesn't know is about Josh Jacobs. He had a career best 140 yards rushing. There was another less hero milestone that Jacobs reached. And he was passing that well as top 10. He was passing Clarence Davis in the number 9 and maybe Ty Whitley at the number 8. So, I mean, because over the first 4 games, he had 336 yards. So should we continue at this current pace right here? And currently, Mark Hobart is sent to the 5th position of the franchise history, and Jacobs is 951, 971. There you guess, because he's still at the top 5. Impressive. What's something already about this Josh Jacobs is able to do it. So he could be like cool reaching of these final games with the team right here. So they didn't pick up it at like a 5th-year option, but hey, a good performance is a good performance right here. And we got another candidate right here. So we got Jefe Carr, maybe get touching the comfortable. And of course, Jefe KCC. Blake Martinez, I can see him play here. But there's another story. Raphael has a Chiefs hat on. No, it's a baseball hat. It's a baseball hat. So he has a baseball hat with the Yankees team. So I'm learning about the jersey right here. So this hat right here, I'm just waiting for the New York Yankees hat right here, and this shirt right here is gonna 98, which is Max Crosby. So there you go, fellas. And of course, we're talking about Derek Carr versus Patrick Mahomes. So I just see all the stats right here. So Patrick Mahomes has passing completions and it had a percentage of 64, and Derek Carr has a percentage is 61.0. But Derek Carr has a large number of rushing yards and, of course, yards unattempted, and he was rushing long. And I mean, and this is performance right here after last Sunday right here. We can see Derek Carr running so fast he can use his legs right here. I mean, Patrick Mahomes doesn't know about it, and he was completely out of control right here because Derek Carr has better snaps and, of course, snaps per game right here. Doesn't have it like Patrick Mahomes. So he could be like the battle of the quarterbacks right here. So at the first, we got Derek Carr versus Patrick Mahomes, which is the ultimate battle. Of course, we got Justin Herbert for the Los Angeles Chargers. And last but not least, Russell Wilson for the Denver Broncos, which wins Denver Donkeys, which is still sucks. But the point is, who's going to win on this battle right here? It's going to be Derek Carr or Patrick Mahomes because, to be fair, Derek Carr could fast any better than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, it doesn't come down to me that Derek Carr needs to have the better stats. As you've seen last week, and what I don't understand is some of the Raiders fans that were just all over Carr's shit for his stat line last week. I don't understand. He didn't throw touchdowns. We got into the red zone. They ran the ball in. I'm fine with that. That's higher percentage way to score. If you can run the ball in and not take the risk of fucking throwing interceptions in the red zone or trying to throw into the end zone, that's a more high percentage way to go. Mahomes obviously has had more success than Derek Carr, as we see the resident Chiefs troll in the audience there pointing out. But let's also look at what Patrick Mahomes has had since he came in the league. Patrick Mahomes was handed a Hall of Fame quarterback. He was handed a completely stocked fucking pantry with all of the talent. They already had a playoff team. Alex Smith was the quarterback. He was plugged right into the perfect situation. Derek Carr went into a completely opposite situation, taking over a team that fucking lost how many straight games in his first season. It wasn't even the same thing. He's had I don't know how many different coaching staffs. You're comparing apples and fucking rocks if you are trying to compare their careers because they've been on completely different paths. The franchises have not been on the same path. Okay, and that's great. You know, all you Queefs fans are, you've had a couple good years. Let's remember, it was 5 fucking decades before you had any of them years, and it took how long for you to get number 2? You're still searching for number 3. You're still sucking hind tit behind our 3. Okay, so remember that. He's greater than this. He's greater than that. He peaked with the Super Bowl, and the fact of the matter is the Chiefs have done worse every single season since they won the Super Bowl. They made it back and then lost. Then they didn't even make it back, and they've gotten worse every fucking year. That's the reality. Now you don't have Tyreek Hill. You're not as explosive, and guess what? This ain't going to be the fucking same season that they've been having the last few. I'm telling you. It's just not the same. And you can stroke Patrick Mahomes as much as you want, but he was handed a perfect situation to come into. And that's why. He's a talented quarterback. I'll give him that. But he was stuck in a perfect situation. I think Derek Carr could have been as successful if you dropped him into that same situation. Honestly.
Yeah, honestly.
That's my take on it.
Yeah, honestly, right now, because
number 1 defense. Who the fuck have you played? Who have you played? You played a fucking anemic, disabled Buccaneers team who had nobody. But you're the number 1 defense? Who have you played? It's been one fucking
No, they are not the number 1 defense. Not at all. Because not at all. Because we had a better defense right here. But I just wanted to tell you about it because right now we have Devonte Adams and Mike Hollins because they both play at the 92 of the team snaps with Hollins primarily as an outside receiver and Adams moving all the formation right here because the offense of the Las Vegas Raiders doesn't beat around the bush with his personal formations because that offense lives in one person, one running back, one tight end, and 21 person, 2 running backs, and 1 tight end. So the Raiders had 10 highest point total this year, but they're tied of the Chiefs with the highest rate of drives and the score. So the Raiders had the number 23 in points allowed because right now the defense are ranked number 20. So how did it be like the Chiefs are still the number 1 defense? But that's not.
This guy saying the Bucks and the Chargers are going to be in the Super Bowl. Did you even watch football, bro? Do you even watch football? The Bucks are 2-2. They can't even get out of their own fucking way right now. Okay, I live in the Sunshine State. I'm deep behind the enemy line, brother. I got more fucking insight to that team than probably fucking anybody. I'm forced to listen to that shit on a daily basis on Sports Talk Radio. The Bucks are a fucking train wreck right now. Tom Brady's going through a fucking divorce. Of course you beat him. They had nobody last week. It's big deal. You took a stick from a retard. Congratulations. Pat yourself on the back for that.
Yeah, but I'll tell you something about it because that comment is for like Jefe right here. So if you don't watch football, how the hell is gonna watch football right here? Because we just talk about football right here. This is a show with entire football right here. We're just talking about Raiders. Because right now, if you don't like football, just fuck it. Because right now we are Raiders fans because we are united for the nation right here. So who's gonna blame us? So nothing, because right now we have the defense right here, we got the offense, we got the special teams, and of course we just have everything about it. So who's gonna stop us? So do me a favor right here. If you don't like us, then go fuck yourself, Jefe. Go fuck yourself. And I hope you're very happy. I hope you're very happy
the other team's fans that come and hang out in
on
podcasts.
Monday Night Football right here. We're gonna beat you in mouth. So Patrick Mahomes can cry about that. Patrick Mahomes is gonna cry me a river right there because we're gonna beat your asses right here.
Well, the fact of the matter is you're going into a division game on Monday night. The Raiders are 1-1 in the division. The Chiefs are 1-0. If the Raiders go into Kansas City and beat Kansas City drops to 1-1 in division. The Raiders go to 2-1 in division, and the Raiders come within 1 game of first place. That's where you're at right now. So you can sit and stroke how great you are in the first month of the season and how bad we were in the first month of the season, and it honestly doesn't matter. It comes right down to this game. And even if the chance that the Raiders lose this game in a close game, which I think it's going to be a close, low-scoring game, even if they lost this game, the 6 games that you have set up coming out of the bye week, you're still going to end up 6-4. As I'm telling you, you're still going to end up probably 7-4 after that 6-game run, because I still believe you win probably all 6 of those. The toughest games are the Jags. The other 5 are walks.
Yeah, of course that. But I'm gonna share the screen right here because right now we're gonna see a play from Max Crosby because he was one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, but he was making more plays against the run of the season. So let's see what I got at the video right here. How is not copyrighted? So let's see what I got right here. All right, so we'll see what they got it. It's got it on number 8 right here. This is the point right. Then how looking impressive is Max Crosby right here? How
Dude,
looking
he's a
impressive
beast.
about Max Crosby right here? Because it's been a force against the run right here because he was improving in that area. He became one of the most around disruptive defensive linemen, and he's been instrumental, just like a perfect game for Las Vegas, allowing for the A lowest per yards per rush. And right now we can decide about Max Crosby right here because he got the power right here. He got the edge defender right here because so far they had not lived to the expectations because has been again being a force, wrecking out for sacks and the league with the sixth most pressures right here. So if we talking about Max Crosby, he's an edge rusher. He's a prime. He's
What a
I
steal,
don't know
man.
what his he's
What a
fucking
steal
BS.
that guy was in the draft, dude. I mean, what a steal. I mean, Max Crosby's a beast. I mean, he's a good candidate right now out of the gate for defensive player of the year. I mean, he's just got to get a few more sacks. A few of those pressures, a few of those close calls, or if he can get a few more of those to turn into sacks, I mean, you can't not argue this guy for defensive player of the year. I mean, he is his game has gotten better season to season so much, man. I mean, this guy is putting in the work. He's getting better and better every freaking game. He's just got a motor. He's got a motor that don't stop all game. And I love this guy. He's one of my favorite players right now on the team. He's a Raider to the core, and that's the guy you need to lock up. He needs to be a Raider for his fucking career. Don't let that guy ever get away. Mad Max needs to be in the silver and black for a long time to come. I mean, they pay that man whatever you need to pay him to keep him the hell around. Because I want to be rooting for that guy for a long time because what you've seen, nobody can stop him, Raph. Nobody can stop him, man. They have
Exactly.
to hold his ass. He's held every fucking damn play. It's ridiculous. There needs to be some more flags thrown on the holding on Max Crosby because if you go watch the coaches tape, dude, that dude is held all the time. It's like unless they're committing a penalty against him, they can't stop him. You have to double him, or you have to hold him, or he's going around your ass. That's just the way it is. He's a talent, man. What a talent that guy is. To get him where we got him in the draft, I mean, well, what a fucking steal. What a steal. Small college guy. I mean, he's always had to work for it. That's the type of guy you want, man. The guy that's always had to work for it. He never had it given to him, you know? He's the small middle school in Michigan, had to grind, he's that guy. He's that dog. He's the guy you want on your line, man. He's that guy we've been looking for years. And man, I'm so happy he's a Raider.
Yeah, we are glad to be here with Max Crosby, which is totally abyss mode. So we got a comments right here. Fade to black, salute Rafi. And of course, we got another comment right here. Is this in his early hefe? We got another comment right here for Nutty
Nate's
Rating
right,
Nate.
man. Klee has played pretty well this season. Klee has done he's not got the stats, but if you go watch the tape, Klee's making some fucking hay out there, man. He's creating some havoc. I think Klee has had a nice little resurgence in Patrick Graham's defense. I've been impressed with Klee. He's playing well.
Yeah, I'm very impressive right here. So we got a comment right here. Hefe to black. So Hefe, how many Super Bowls do they have? The Chiefs have? Chiefs had one, and we got three. We got three. So it was gonna be like that. Two? Oh, yeah, we got two right here. So
They got two.
I'm very impressive. All right, so let's see what I'm gonna share another screen right here. So I'm very impressive about Devonte Adams and of course I'm the cow right here. So right now there's another video. So right now there is offensive line because they are helping with the running game using having Carver use the drive action handle off frankly. So that gives the blockers an advantage for the momentum right there. So let's see another video right here. So let's see where they got over here. All right, let's see what I hear. Hmm? I think those guys have really talented about the offensive line. So we just show up with the video right here. So I'm very impressive about what's going on about the offensive line. And he was getting enough better right here because the defense, the offense, and of course the special teams, the offensive line, they're gonna smack whole cheese right here because even the defense right here, that doesn't make it work of the cheese right here. But the Raiders got dove against them Broncos, and we prove that the defense, the offensive, and the defensive line, they're anything about it.
Mhm.
So, Fade like I said, if Mahomes get five, it's gonna be on another team
Mahomes
right
ain't getting
here.
five. Mahomes ain't getting five. I'll be surprised if he
No,
gets two. Honestly, I'll be surprised if he gets two. He already had his chance in a second. Yeah, everybody wants to say this guy's the next GOAT. Tom Brady already beat his ass in the Super Bowl, so he's never gonna hold that ever. I'm
no, it's
telling
not
you,
gonna be
since they
hard.
won the Super Bowl, they've been on the way down every season. They've achieved less success every season since their Super Bowl win. Those are straight facts, man. You can't dispute it.
Yeah, it is. So right now I'm gonna play it in another video right here because this is the last one right here. So I'm gonna check this right here. So right now, Devonte Adams has 22 more TGHs than more rated players. So Carr forced him the ball in any single coverage situation. So the base real like the copperback showed us right here. So we're gonna show the video right here. So let's see what they got. Sorry. All right, let's see what I hear. And then I think the perfect combination between Devonte Adams and Derek Carr, which is dynamite. So we can see the play right here. And I mean, this time is because I would say it at the first time when Devonte Adams get drafted for the Las Vegas Raiders, we just see like the powerful defense right here.
Mm.
So any thought that the Devonte Adams is going to stay for the Green Bay Packers for a long time, but they say no, because Devonte Adams got the right thing. He gonna stay for Las Vegas Raiders to shore it up for Derek Carr right here because he had the powerful deal right here, the quarterback and the right receiver, perfect combination. I mean, those guys are really bright talent right here, and all those Carr haters right here, you can say about it. So it's his 9 year of the career right here, and this is the first time that we see Derek Carr and Devontae Adams have the combination right here over these 4 games right here. So anytime we see a performance of Devontae Adams or Derek Carr will be perfect. But there's still another Derek Carr haters and how they drafted, how this is gonna be there. So I don't know. So any thoughts about the combination between Devontae Adams and Derek Carr about the video that will
Well, it's been
show us about the game?
yeah, it's been something. I mean, obviously, I think these guys are planning to stick together for years to come. I mean, this has been something they've been trying to put together since they were in college. Has been trying to make this happen, and I don't think Devonte wanted to be in Wisconsin. Who the hell
Yeah.
wants to live there? I mean, if you got the option to live in Green Bay or Las Vegas, I mean, think everybody's going to take that. And he even said it too. I mean, there's very little opportunities for a lot of things, endorsement wise, everything else in Green Bay. Now he's hooked up with casinos and everything else. I mean, there's just so much more opportunity for him as the type of level of athlete that Devonte Adams is by being in Vegas compared to being in the fucking armpit of the country and up in the frozen tundra where nobody wants to live. It's great they got great cheese up there, but other than that, they ain't got shit up there. I mean, have you been to Green Bay? There ain't nothing there but a fucking football stadium. Nobody wants to live. There's no nightlife. There's no nothing for a young multi-millionaire
Yeah, the
athlete.
multimillionaire owners like that, but yes.
But so on the field, I think these guys are you're going to see this connection to continue to develop because these guys have such a great rapport together. And it's crazy to me that I've seen so many people saying how Patrick Surtain shut down Devonte Adams last game. I didn't see that. I don't know what game they were watching, but when a guy has 9-10 catches and goes over 100 yards, that's not shutting anybody down to me. He made it a little harder on him. I think he played okay as a defensive back, but they got what they needed to get, and they ran the game plan. There wasn't a lot of deep passes figured in this game plan because that wasn't the game you were playing. That wasn't the game you came in with this time. You came in to run the ball, throw short, be high percentage, and move the ball down the field. And that's exactly what they did. I think the way they're hooking up, the back shoulder throws like you just shown, those are throws that you see between a quarterback and a receiver that have starting to build a great rapport and have a rapport because he just knows where to put the ball for the guy. And I think that's only going to get better, Raf, as the season goes on. It's only going to get better between these two. They've got such a great rapport already. They off-season practiced together for years. They were in college together. I think if they keep working day to day together, they're only going to get better. They're only going to get better. And I honestly think part of the reason that you've seen a little issue is the coaching staff. I don't think it's the talent on the field. I think it's a lot of the coaching staff figure out how to use the talent on the field. Yes. And be the guy. I mean, Josh didn't have to be the head coach. He didn't have to do all the other shit. He just had to call the offense. So it's a lot different now. And I think he's going through a little bit of a learning curve with the team. And I think all will come together and start to gel. And I'm hoping it's this week. We saw the beginning of it last week, and I hope it continues this week. And you see a little more hookup from Derek Carr and Devonte Adams, and see him do some toe taps in the end zone this week in Kansas City, because that would be a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's exactly about it. So right now we had 2 last questions right here. So I guess it's gonna be like, because they're looking at a big place in the whole star right here, because they had the intense rivalry between Las Vegas Raiders versus Kansas City Chiefs for years, and a lot of years for any that about it. So what did they say about Devonte Adams, the results of the last time he was stepped off for the Arrow Red? Because the last season he came as a Green Bay Packer, which is Devonte Adams, he would caught 6 passes for 33 yards. He was missing it off of action during the COVID-19. He still remembers about the electric by now. But as a first time as a Raider against Chiefs right here, boy, it's going to be unforgettable. And I will tell you why. Because the combination between Derek Carr and Devonte Adams, spectacular. And, of course, Hunter Renfrow, Mike Hollins, and, of course, Max Crosby and Chandler Jones, they're pure dynamite. And I was saying it about it because they have prior to this right here, because they're farewell. Because it's like the big piece of what's going on for the conference right here. So we got the Chiefs that we got the Chiefs. They sucks. Of course, we got the Raiders. We got the incredible talent right here, because we had Derek Carr, Devonte Adams, Mike Hollins, and there's good talent right here. And we got the Chargers, which is Justin Herbert, which is he beat us, because he beat us at the first week at the SoFi Stadium. And of course, Denver Broncos.
But it sucked. You had to lose that game for week 1, but that was the first game for this new coaching staff. I mean, there's so much change on this team for coming into week 1, man. There's so much, and look at what the Chargers have done since. They're not what everybody thinks they're going to be. They're just not. I think Herbert's overrated. I think he's way overrated.
Wholly overrated.
He's Dan Marino 2.0. He's going to have a lot of cute stats, and he's never going to win a goddamn thing.
Yeah, I don't think so, because right now when I'm thinking about Patrick Mahomes, I was thinking he's the overrated right here, because he always talking about how good is impressive right here, because I'm really tired about these comments right here, how good is Patrick Mahomes, because in my opinion right here, Patrick Mahomes is the most overrated on the league right here, and I'm not gonna lie because
I agree with you. He came into the perfect situation. This dude it had a stock team. It was ready to go. This was already a playoff team that just needed to upgrade the quarterback. Already had a Hall of Fame coach. Had everything ready to go. They just switched the quarterback and switched him for Alex Smith. That was it. He came into a perfect situation. Perfect situation. I'll give him credit. He won a Super Bowl. But he's been on a downward trend ever since. It's reality. I think Devontae's gonna have a lot of fun, like you mentioned, man. This week in Kansas City, getting a chance to be the first time in that rivalry, to get there, to see how hated the Raiders are in Arrowhead. You're gonna have a whole fucking 60, 70,000 of Ronald McDonald looking motherfuckers yelling at you. You're gonna realize the type of rivalry this is, and I think you're gonna see him respond appropriately.
Yeah, that's right. And of course, we got a last question right here. So I got my prediction right here. So I got my prediction ready, and it's gonna be Raiders 40, Chiefs 20. So who you got the prediction right here? Who's
Damn, you're
gonna win
going.
this?
You're looking at some points, brother. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
think it's going to be that high scoring. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring. I think it's going to be a little lower scoring game. Like I said, I think the key to winning this game is to drag the Chiefs into the trenches and make them play a game they don't want to play. I think you got to drag it down. I think you're going to chew clock. I think you're going to run the game. I think you're going to play power football. I think you're going to run block. And you're going to throw short passes and move the ball down the field. I'm looking at a 23-20 win for the Raiders. I think they pull it out in the end. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. I think both teams are going to be in it all the way to the finish, and I think the Raiders are going to take it in the end. It's going to be a very tight game, but the Raiders win. That's my pick.
All right. So
I like yours better, though, Raph. I like the 40 point. The sounds of 40 points a lot better.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I just have a hard time seeing it. But I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right and I'm wrong.
Oh yes, I'm hoping I'm right here. So right now, before we leave right here on this special episode right here on the Civil Black Experience with the comments right here. So I got a message for everybody else. So right now, when it's talking about football, if you're a Raider fan or if you're going to be a Raider fan, you need to learn the whole history of the Raider Nation. You had to learn about the whole history about how impressive and how good is the coach Joe Maiden. There's Flores, and of course, the Super Bowls that we wanted. And of course, we're talking about impressive players like Rich Gannon, Charles Woodson, Jim Plunkett, Phil Villapiliano, and of course, we got Ken Staber. If you're going to understand how impressive about those players all over this years right here, that you had to go understand what's the big importance of being a Raider Nation right here. So we are the Raider Nation right here. We had the world biggest fan base in the history of the football. We got fans not only in the United States, but also United Kingdom, Australia, Mexico, Japan, also Australia, New Zealand, Africa. We're everywhere right here. So if you're gonna need a Raider fan, so I had to get very good options. You had to learn about the history of the Raider Nation and of course the legendary players. You had to watch all the entire games of the Raiders, and of course, you had to buy like a Raider jersey right there. Looking at where it for the '98 with Max Crosby. If you're gonna wear this right here, so if you're gonna need something better right now, because don't fuck with the Raider Nation right here, because Chiefs, Chargers, and of course the Donkeys, we're coming up for you because we're gonna beat your asses right here. We're gonna beat your asses right here, and there's nothing gonna stop us. I'm gonna fully mode on Stone Cold Steve Austin and say, I just whip your ass right here. So there you go, right here. And of course, it's been another episode of Silver and Black Experience right here with my homeboy, which is the Comage 81 right here. So, Comage, we're gonna follow the social media right here. We're gonna follow us.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hey, everybody. You see my website right down here at the bottom, www.raiderreaction.com. You go to raiderreaction.com, that's got links to everything that is Raider Reaction related. We're big on TikTok. We're big on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitch. We've got our own real, raw, uncensored Raider group on Facebook that's about 15,000 insane Raider fans strong. We don't censor anybody in that group. It is the type of group you should be in. So if you want to be in a Raider group where you can speak your mind, come on over to the Raider Nation Dark Side, the official group of Raider Reaction. It's 15,000 strong. There are no moderators. There are none of that shit. We don't tap you on the shoulder, tell you what you can't say about your team. There ain't no fucking hall monitors in there. It's the type of group you should be in to be able to speak your mind about the team that you love. So, but if you go to RaiderReaction.com, that will take you to everything. It's got links to go to our group. You can hit the button; it'll send you right to the group. It's got all the social media links at the top. Follow us, man. I'm live on TikTok all the time. My podcast, The Raider Nation Reports, live on Tuesday nights. Plus, we damn near got shows every fucking night of the week. Plus, we got Raider Reaction Fight Nights on Saturday. So, I mean, we got all kinds of shit going on at Raider Reaction. So check us out, man. I appreciate my boy for asking me to come on. I had a great time talking Raider football. I love talking Raider football, man. I love it. But yeah, if we could be just another little side piece to your Raider season. So you can watch Raf, you come watch us, and just some more Raider content, some silver and black
Oh,
to
yes,
fill your
sir.
time,
Yes,
man.
sir.
To fill your time.
Yes, sir. It's been another episode of Silver and Black Experience. No bullshit, no drama, and of course, no quips. If there's a message for you, Kansas City Chiefs, fuck you, and of course, fuck Patrick Mahomes right here. We're gonna win this.
Loser.
And of course,
Loser.
we salute to you. And of course, it's been another episode of Silver and Black Experience with your host, Rafael Chacinas, known as El Capitán Rafucho, with a special guest, the Comage 81 right here. So let me scream you if you're louder right here. If you're a Raider fan, let me scream. Raiders! Raiders! There you go right here. There's been another episode of Silver and Black Experience. We're out right here. Raider Nation for life, motherfuckers.
Peace, love, Raider Nation.
Peace, love.